Donnie B got to be.
Hello, everybody. It's Donnie B got the beats, and we live on the beat. Season 5, y'all, and we are doing our thing, mid stride. And you know what time it is? It's time for that glorious intro, y'all. Check this out. So like I said, you guys, you already know I'm always out here looking for who's moving and shaking and doing hella dope work out in the world. And let me out there to Germany, my brother Famo, man, real good brother, man, and he really put me on to his league of extraordinary gentlemen, so they say. And one of the gentlemen is this brother here, JRock from Big Brothers. This dude is one of the dopest dudes I've seen coming out in a long time, and he's been in the game for a second. This brother got a lot of credentials, so this is going to be a really, really dope interview, everybody. But without further ado, let's jump straight to it. My brother, JRock, what's going on with you, brother?
Everything's blessed. Donnie B got the beats.
That's what it is, brother. It's a pleasure to have you all, man.
Thank you for putting me on your platform, my brother, man. It means the world. Trust me.
Of course, bro. Of course, anything. Well, you out in the UK right now, right?
Yeah. South London, man.
Okay, South London. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Definitely a big fan. Yeah. And been watching BBC shows and stuff. Was like knee high. I talk about Banana Man, the whole nine. You know what I mean? So, that's what it is. Like I said, it's a pleasure to have you on, brother. But let's get to this because I know your time is really important because I know you're a very important person, man.
Right.
Let's go back and start with who is JRock. Tell our viewers just so they get to know who you are.
Well, JRock is number one, my stage name. It's my character. It's my other persona. And I got that name because I grew up in Washington, D.C. And like when I was, I don't know, even before I was 5 years old, everyone was calling me Rocky or JRock because like I never used to cry. I never used to I was just a rock pretty much. So, when I was growing up in DC, everyone used to call me Rock. So eventually that just became my rap name. They used to call me Special J. They used to call me a lot of different things, but like Rocky or JRock has always stuck with me for sure.
You know what's dope about this, man? And I had no way. I was today years old when I found out that you grew up in Washington, D.C. And people that know, that's where I'm from. I'm from Washington, D.C. myself. So I'm like, you just tugging at my heartstrings, bro.
I felt like I still feel like I left my heart in D.C. I'm not gonna lie, man. I love D.C.
Hey,
D.C.
man.
is everything. Yeah.
Shout out to the good old DMV, man. It's all love, man. But like I said, you definitely my guy right now. I'm trying to tell you. All right, cool. Well, that's a pleasure. Now, growing up, obviously you spent time in Washington D.C. Did you? How long were you in D.C. And then from there, when did you go back overseas?
So I first left D.C. in 1984. I must have been like 6 years old at the time. Like the reason why my family had to leave is my dad is actually from Ghana, and he was a diplomat. And there was a coup in Ghana, so like we had to up and move, but we couldn't go back to Ghana because the person that became president and my dad was clashing. So we moved to England instead. They call it living in exile. But like, you know, as soon as I like touched the ground and found my feet eventually, like there was no stopping me here in the UK. And I suppose that was that whole, you know, DC pace and like, you know, upbringing initially. I was so, you know, hardened and like used to stuff that moving to a place like England, I thought I could I could run it kind of thing, like, you know. So yeah, like JRock is that guy. Like I literally thought that if I play my cards right, I can run this place.
You know what's funny? I felt the same way when I moved to LA.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's something in the water over there at the DMV where they breed people that we run it, you know. So that's what it
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely.
Cool. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Lisa Dove Washington from Dove Style Magazine's tuned in. Check you out too. Shout out to Brother Famo. And in the chat, man, they already thought, you know, trying to get a piece of you, bro. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So
They can all get some. They can all get some.
being that you're from the D, right, and then
Yeah,
being out there in the UK,
yeah,
what was the transition like? Because I mean, like you said, you knowing that as soon as you touch down, it's like, woo, well, they don't know what's about to hit them, right?
exactly.
But how did that come to fruition? I mean, that everything work out like you thought it was going to work out? I mean, and how difficult is it to you know, not because for me it was somewhat of a transition to go from DC, let alone to the other side of the country, the LA. But you went
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
pond and everything. So how
yeah,
just
yeah.
talk about that and what was that like for
So as I say, the first time I left DC, I was about 6.
you?
So like I was coming back for summer vacations, this, that, and the other. And like my sisters, they didn't come to the UK like I did, like to live and stuff like that. So I used to go and stay with them. And like, you know, as time was going on, like my sisters was dating some of the like DC legends and stuff like that. So like, you know, I kind of learned the ropes as I was growing up, but you know, on vacations and stuff like that. So I
Right.
would pick up their traits and their character and their personality, and then I would bring it back to England. And people always wanted more and more and more of that character. So that's how I became like J-Rock full time kind of thing. Like
Mm.
I was a character more than I was John Paul Horsley, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. I mean, I think that's the thing that gets by a lot of people when they think, you know, you definitely have to have a persona. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Especially in entertainment. I mean, that's your calling card. That's what people know you by. So it definitely makes sense.
absolutely. I mean, by nature, I don't think I'm the most confident person, but you know, when I got my J-Rock hat on, all of a sudden I'm like Tupac out here.
I trust me, I get it because I wasn't born down to get the beat, so I totally get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. That's what it is, brother. That's what it is. And by the way, too, because I gotta ask. So you familiar with the go-go scene and the music and the style and everything? Like,
Definitely, definitely. I used to go to the Go-Go's in DC with my cousins and stuff like that. And as I say, I used to love the way the drums was everything in a go-go. And you know, the delivery,
mhm.
it was a little different. It was something that DC had a signature on, and like none of the other states really got it, you know.
Right.
um but for me, I used to bring go-go tapes back to London and like, you know, try and get people into go-go, because a lot of the black people in the UK are actually Caribbean.
Right.
So like they have that reggae thing, this, that, and the other. So I thought they would get it, and a lot of them they did, and eventually even you know, is it DJ Cool
Yeah.
who had that "Let Me Clear My Throat"?
Yeah.
Like that came over here. That was a big hit in the UK as well. So I was championing those types of records and stuff like that. But I was certainly bringing the go-go tapes back to the UK and showing people what we listened to back home in DC for sure.
That's awesome, and I'm glad that you say that too, because you know the prevalence of Afro Caribbean drums, right?
Uh-huh.
In a lot of music, especially
Mm.
today, is very very paramount. And I think just to hear that something indigenous to DC, it, you
Yeah,
know, can transfer to some other place where that kind of environment is cultured and blossomed. You know what I mean? And
for
that's
sure,
definitely
for
very
sure.
interesting. I do want to ask, who's your favorite go-go band of all time, or at least song?
I think Northeast Groovers, but like my favorite song, of course, is Sardines, Hey, and Pork
Yeah,
and Beans.
that's what it is. We definitely
That
gonna have
that
to.
song always puts a smile on my face for sure.
Hey, we gonna have to get you gonna get the sound bite of that. What are you doing the sardines? That's amazing right there. Yeah, that's what's up. NEG2 is that's my group, man. I grew up off of them, and shout out the backyard and S's,
Yeah.
but that's a horse of a different color, man. We here to celebrate you. Definitely 507. I wanna hey 50, I need to see if you want that go too, man. Like we need to, so going through the next line of questioning is how'd you get started in the entertainment industry? What was the, if there was a one scenario that
Mm,
brought it to the forefront that made it like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do for a living. I'm in the
yeah.
industry.
Well, that's a long story, but I'll try and break it down as much as possible. Like when I was maybe 16, 17, I started a group called Out for Justice. And Out for Justice was like a hardcore group. And we went to see Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack when they came to England through DJ Tim Westwood. And like, we kind of had a thing with Biggie where, we looked like New York niggas to him. So
Mm,
like he was talking to us about like doing some music in the future, this, that, and the other. We were smoking weed together and everything. In fact, the day before he got killed, he was coming back to the UK to link up and do some business over here. So when he died, that was a pivotal moment in my
mm,
whole outlook, my whole thinking. Like I used to love Tupac, I'm not gonna lie, but like Biggie and us had a connection. We actually met up in the concert. He recognized us. He, pulled us backstage. We had those conversations. And like, as I say, when he died, it was the day before he was supposed to come to the UK. And
mm,
like, at that point I was like, okay, I'm gonna take rap really, really seriously now. Because like I've lost a major opportunity that almost happened by luck. So I was like, I'm gonna consciously make an effort to get like a deal for myself and so forth and so on. So like I was always recording with people that had record deals, but I never had one myself. I didn't know how to get a manager. I didn't know how to, we didn't have mobile phones, cell phones like how we do today. You
right.
couldn't just Google the record label and get yourself a meeting. You needed a few things in place. So again, like further on down the line from that, a good few years after that, like my producer skills actually got signed to a label called Shallot Global as a management thing, kind of type deal. But they were shopping him around the major labels. So one day they came back to the studio to collect records. So I was like, look, you can't actually sign him and not sign me. And he was like, why? And I was like, because all the songs that you're listening to, that's got me on it, kind of thing. And he was like, you know what, you're right. So he was like, pick the best six of you guys and we'll do a deal. So I picked myself, obviously Randy from Out for Justice, Flawless. Sharice had already won a mobile award over in the UK for being unsigned. So I picked her as well. I picked Nadia and Dion, who I knew from around the way. So like after that, the rest was kind of history. They went to a meeting in France called Meedem. It's like a big music convention. And they were like shopping our record around. And when they came back, they were like, oh, there's interest from Sony, there's interest from Universal, there's interest, woo-ty woo. So I was like, okay, which is the best deal? Kind of thing. So at that point, I was going to the meetings as well with the management, with the group. We were kind of doing showcases at labels and stuff like that. And at that point, I just knew I just wasn't gonna let go. Like
Mm.
someone was gonna take me, and whoever it was, I was gonna make it successful from that point for sure. Like there was no turning back.
Awesome, brother. I mean, you're the like you said, the rest is history because the credits and everything afterwards is just expansive. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely. What are some of the?
absolutely.
I mean, I'm familiar, but what could you list some of the accomplishments that you and the group uh made that people?
Sure. I mean, we took part in the Scooby Doo 2 movie back in, I think it was 2006. We're actually in the film, but we actually did the soundtrack as well. So all of the artists that you hear and see in the movie, like we kind of put them together and stuff like that. We've won multiple awards, whether it's MTV awards, whether it's Mobo awards, whether it's TMF awards. We've won everything. All of my records so far have either been gold or platinum. Like most of them have gone platinum, like across Europe and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, I wish I could have done more in America, but like it didn't work out like that. So you know, that was a bit sucky. But like when we were doing the Scooby Doo 2 promo, I was interviewed by BET before there was like a BET International and stuff like that. So I know like at those stages, I was kind of opening doors, letting people know that there is a scene in the UK. And once they came over here, you know, the music scene over here has blown up. You can see Drake, you know, working with a lot of the young up and coming artists over here. There's a lot of American artists that work with UK artists now, especially in the drill scene. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm just happy to have been one of the pioneers that opened doors for the UK market for sure.
That's awesome, man. And like I said, it's a blessing to be able to know your credentials and see you actually work. Like you said, I mean, I'm definitely familiar with the talent that from the states that comes over that work with a lot of the talent over there.
Mm,
You
mm,
know, so like you said, being a true pioneer, man, is kudos to you, brother. Kudos, seriously.
no doubt, man. I'm proud.
That's what it is. Who and or what were your inspirations in doing this whole thing?
As I say, when I was growing up, I used to listen to a lot of, you know, NWA, Public Enemy. Um, Even previous to that, I used to listen to Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Cool G Rap. So these type of guys, but it was always like, because the UK is built different to America, like back in my days. Nowadays, it's a little bit more even. But like in my days, it was vastly different. So like it was always like, how do you become Cool G Rap? How do you become Public Enemy? How do you become Ice Cube or any of these NWA guys? How do you become that over here in the UK? So
Yeah.
eventually, like just like everywhere else, I mean, you hit the streets and you do what you do. Like that really like paid for studio time. It also, you know, I was in the club with all of the finest girls, this, that, and the other as a kid. You know, I used to hang out with boxers, whether, you know, weight division didn't really matter. They all just thought I was the I don't know if you could say crazy, but like, you know, the maddest little boy you've ever seen. But
Mhm.
like, you know, I was really about that. So like, you know, everyone just gravitated towards me, gravitated towards my groups and stuff like that. So, you know, I was just becoming popular and more popular, but I didn't really want to be super notorious, if if you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to be a rapper. I didn't want to be a criminal. But I was virgining on both sides of the tracks, you know, as you do.
I get it. Trust me, I get it, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, the focus is always to stop any negativity and show pure positivity, isn't it? So like as soon as I could, I let go of the street stuff and concentrated on the entertainment industry. And I suppose that's why I've been in it for 20 years, you know?
right, right. Congratulations for being in it 20 years, by the way. That's
Thank you, thank
not to
you.
be taken lightly at all because people come and
No,
go. And
absolutely. Especially over here, black groups don't really last that long. So like I'm proud that we've lasted for the whole 20-year duration. That was always a goal of mine. But like to see some of the young guys that's coming up now, it's like you guys can actually have it for 20 years as well. You can even, you know, surpass 20 years and do other great things. And hopefully I'm, you know, showing the way a little bit.
Right. Right. You're definitely doing that, brother. Definitely doing it.
Mm.
What are and or were your biggest obstacles in establishing yourself in the industry? Because obviously, I mean, you for 20 plus years you've been doing this thing, but I'm sure that they had to encounter some obstacles. So if you care to share, what are they and what how did you overcome them?
I mean, on both sides of the table, like both in the streets and corporate, there were many obstacles, yeah. So like for instance, in the streets, people would be like, "Oh, if I was you, I'd be doing this, this, and this." And I was like, "Okay, if I was you, I'd still be in the street. So
Yeah.
don't advise me," kind of thing. But like, but like in the corporate, it's like everyone is trying to rip you off a little bit. So maintaining like your rights, maintaining your publishing percentages, maintaining your this, your that was for whatever reason extremely difficult for us because like so many different people claimed to have a portion of it for whatever reason.
Right.
So for us, you know, even though we had a great lawyer or whatever, we still ended up giving away more than I would have liked. And like, you know, I'm still having those debates and arguments today with ex-managers, ex-record labels, this, that, and the other, because after 20 years, I feel like that should just be automatically reverted back to the artist. But they seem to think there's a perpetuity deal. And that's what I say by some of this is like a slave clause. Like you do all of the promotion, you're out there at concerts, like 20,000 people, when 20,000 people see you on stage, at least 2,000 people is going to download your CD again, just
Right.
for nostalgia's sake. Where's that money? So, like, you know, I'm still having those debates, even though the labels are kicking out a little bit more. They're still trying to, you know, maintain their perpetuity laws and stuff like that. And like when I say, look, man, I'll speak about it in public. Like this is a slave contract. Like who wants to be a part of that? They're
Right.
always trying to, you know, I'll do this for you, JRock. Oh, I'll do that for you. What I want is what I own in it, is which is my publishing and my recording rights. That's it. Everything else is peanuts.
Totally understood. And again, these are nuggets, and everybody who you need to be writing this down. Anybody who's paying attention to this stuff, the fact that you know this stuff is awesome, and it speaks volumes to just you know how much you understand the game. Because you know most people, you know, I especially me, like I know a lot of recording artists, and a good portion of them are like, oh, I just want to rap, bro. Like, you know, y'all do all that other stuff. I just want to rap, right? But you actually have the presence of mind to be like, yo, I want to do what I want to do, but I need to protect my interests. You know, you have a financial acumen there. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Now, was
Absolutely.
that always there, or like you said, it was just something that developed over time? That you know, the longer you were in it, the more you understood it.
Again, I think the longer I was in it, the more I just naturally picked it up. Again, you know, my management wasn't all bad. So like some of the stuff that they were teaching me along the way, you know, has helped me like leaps and bounds beyond anything else. Um, but at the same time, you know, you always have to be mindful. Like I have a family just like they have families. All of the, you know, CEO of Sony, he has a family. Like we all need to get paid. And there's a level of what I'll allow myself to be ripped off. Yeah, like if you're a manager, you should get your 10% or your 20%. That's it. But like, you know, the manager wanted pieces of the publishing, he wanted pieces of the recording, he wanted pieces of everything. And then when it's all said and done, he's the person that is claiming to own the stuff, the catalog and stuff like that. And you know, there's no way I can allow that to
Right.
happen. So, you know, it's like you write a book and you do a publishing deal. The publisher takes a certain percent. The book comes out, it's pressed, it's this, it's that, it's distributed, and the book goes out there. The publishing company of a book is not trying to take 80%. You understand?
Right.
Whereas in the music industry, they're trying to take everything. They'll give you as little as they can, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
you have to be aware. You have to be aware.
Well, I love the way you put your words together, JRock. You definitely understand that, and I mean, you definitely are kicking that wisdom out. So I want to circle back more on the financial aspect of the music industry a little bit later on in the interview. But
Sure.
right now, we have your newest single, Controller, with Big Brovaz featuring City Boy. You want to talk about that? How that come together, and tell us about that, the whole video and the music, like who did the beat, who did the video, just everything that you want to share about that and how it came together.
Sure. I don't know how familiar you guys are of a group called S Club 7, but City Boy is actually from that group, which was a really commercial group out of the UK. They came out after the Spice Girls, but on the same management. So the S Club actually stands for Spice Club 7, and City Boy is from that group. But like a lot of people understand him for making cheesy music. So like I wanted to show the other side of City Boy that no one really understands, or no one actually gets to meet. So we put him on this record. We shot the video in Mitesfield Estate in Brixton, which is, a very well known, maybe even notorious estate in Brixton. And yeah, we were just having a cookout, man. It was a normal day. So, we wanted it to come across as, this is us doing the type of stuff that we like. We're not hoping for miracles or anything like that. But like, we still enjoy making music. And we put a little bit of an Afro beats twist on there, a bit of a, reggae twist on there. And yeah, I just really love the song. So like, this is Controller, Big Brovaz. Okay.
Well, like you said, you heard of JRock. It's Controller, Big Brovaz featuring City Boy. Check this out.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Dip it like that, babe, dip it like that, sip it. Champagne, we are sipping like that. If it's money to spend, we are getting right back. Oh, she on my lap while I'm sitting right back, and she only me, oh. And she said she want only me, oh. But you know I don't believe her, she a deceiver, she want my visa. So I'm like, go slow, mama, oh no, She said, oh papa, don't stop her. Her face banging, and her body proper. So we danced all night, doing the cha-cha.
She wanna
like
control me. She wanna control me. She wanna get all of my controller and control me. She wanna control me. Take control of me. She wanna get all of my controller and control me.
Baby wanna live a high life. She only spend it when it's my price. Baby, you should be mine by rights, girlfriend, when you're going to be my wife. You gotta take control of me. Baby, I'll give you the whole of me. You wanna get hold up my controller and control of me. You got the kind of body I like. Lady killer, I'ma turn up at your 9-9. Shine bright, that's right. Gotta get you in my bed, can't get you out my head, girl, you're my type, that's right.
She wanna control me. She wanna control me. She wanna get hold of my controller and control me. She wanna control me. Take control of me. She wanna get hold of my controller and control me. Now let me see you wind up your body, baby. Let me see you wind up your body, girl. Now let me see you wind up your body.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. I
Thank you.
love
Thank
the
you.
vibe. I love the vibe of it. We're definitely in the rhythms. Yeah, that it's just
Yeah, yeah.
it's a real good feel. You know what I mean? So what's the
Definitely.
response like on that?
Say what?
What's the response like on that? I know the people got to be clamoring for that, man.
To be fair, I just do it out for the fans, like real light release, and like it's getting a lot of random views on things like whether it's Twitch, whether it's like there's so many different apps that it went out to. So I'm getting a lot of good feedback from other places, not necessarily YouTube because I didn't really put the link out, this, that, and the other. But yeah, I'm getting a lot of good responses, especially on like Apple Music, Tidal, and these places. There, it's getting a lot of like random views. So yeah, it's a good look.
Yeah, like I said, it sounds amazing. The video was dope. It just and the summer's get ready to come too, so you already know that plane gonna be landing real soon.
Yeah, you know. So like I see the money going up, but I'm not really, you know, how do you say, influenced by that.
I got you.
So every time people like download the video or download the single, like obviously I can see like there's a major change in my because I released it independently. So the money comes to us directly. So you know I can see the money going up, but it's like okay, like what is the best that can happen? But like you know what I really want to do is just be a little bit more consistent and drop more records at a time because that one came out in maybe August. And since then, I've been to the studio maybe 2 or 3 times, recorded, but haven't released no music, you know? So yeah, this year is all about, you know, being consistent, dropping something every 3 months or so.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what it is. That's definitely like I said. We look forward what's next. I'm sure it's gonna be a banger. You know.
Yeah, 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 of
Um,
course, man.
I
Like my
definitely
music always has how do you say, it has a different genre twisted into the hip hop and R&B. So the next one might even have a go-go twist.
well, you about to get me all warm and fuzzy in here, man. I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure.
Thank you, for sure.
I definitely want to call attention to something. Whoop, whoop, as Pablo say, for sure. I want to switch gears to something that is people need to understand this because this is something that you know is near and dear to a lot of people that are close to us. Um, you've done a lot of philanthropy work as well.
Yeah.
One thing that you specifically championed is you have a fight against autism. I want you to talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit. Like how did that get started? What you know? What have you been associated with? Like how have you pioneered in that landscape,
Yeah,
as well as any other philanthropy work that you want to throw out there? Let people know what you're doing.
for sure. So I suppose the fight against autism came about when my son was born. Maybe 2000 and he was born in 2008, but it wasn't until 2009 that I started to realize that you know there wasn't something you know too the same about him. And you know after having a certain injection, I noticed a huge like regression in his you know behavior, not only that but personality and everything like this. So you know speaking to the doctors about it, they were saying that they wanted to test him for autism. So at that stage I was like, oh, okay, what's autism? I didn't know anything about autism. I you know was just riding a wave of the music industry, and all of a sudden you're telling me that you know my son is not 100% in some way. Like I needed to know exactly what it was. I needed to know what I needed to do to fix it, and so forth and so on. So I became like engulfed in learning everything that I could about autism. Again, focusing on my son, focusing on the family that I had at the time, and stuff like that. So I decided to walk away from the music industry at that stage, and you know, really figure things out for my family. You know, put family first, as they say. So you know, at that point, I started to do you know different types of work with him. I would you know look at YouTube videos even to see what was working for people with autism, what was not working for people with autism. what did I need to do on a more regular basis to help him, you know, break through that shell kind of thing. So, you know, as I say, I became engulfed in learning everything that I could about autism. So today my son is 14, and he's rather well known in the autism circles because of all of the campaigns that we've done. We've done it with some of the biggest newspapers, some of the biggest charities, and you know, we seem to get a lot of press over here in the UK when you're doing something that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't want to speak about in the first place, but, you know, especially from a black man who, you know, had a lot to continue with, to let everything go and just focus on this was like a big thing for a lot of people. So again, you know, that was something that I just did naturally. I did not want to, you know, become famous for that necessarily. Obviously, having a hip hop background, I didn't want people coming at me in lyrics about this and that. So, you know, I was trying to keep it as 100 as I could, but at the same time, my motivation was my son. You know, it wasn't being #1 in the charts anymore. I couldn't have cared less. Like, what I wanted was to hear "Daddy, I love you" being spoken to me by my son, and, you know, he was nonverbal and so forth and so on. So, you know, personally, you know, I struggled a lot because I expect my son to be able to rap, you know, be able to, you know, converse. I expect him to be able to do certain things, and he was not able to. So again, for me, everything was more about putting focus on my family rather than putting focus on my career. So, you know, as I say, I was just riding a huge wave from the music industry. I had accomplished all of my biggest dreams. I always just wanted to go platinum, you know, and I've got a few platinum plaques under my sink right now. I don't even put them on my wall. But you know what I'm saying? Like, my focus was my family. It had to be. And at this stage of my life, I have 4 children. 2 of them are on the spectrum. Obviously, my eldest son is the most affected by autism. My youngest son is also on the spectrum, but he has probably Asperger's syndrome. So that is a type of autism, but it makes you very high functioning. So, you know, a lot of the times people don't diagnose Asperger's syndrome anymore because you can live a normal life. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your large family. You know, that's a blessing. I mean, it's a blessing in itself. I mean, you know, there's people out there that would love to do that, but to be the man that you are, like you said, to put that first, that deserves praise, brother. Like, definitely,
Thank you. Thank you.
As a black man, take care.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
Mhm.
Now, with that being said, with all of these things that's going on, and philanthropy that you worked and you walked away and the whole line, but obviously you're still you know, dabbling with it now with the release of Controller, and you know, you're still doing your thing. What are you?
I mean, as far as philanthropy goes, sorry to cut you. As far as
No.
philanthropy goes, I still, you know, work with teenagers and the youth in the local neighborhood at a place called Legacy Youth Zone. I was there from its inception. It's like it's maybe the building costs like 1.5 million, but the stuff that's inside the building comes up to 6.5 million. It's like a state-of-the-art youth club. So you can learn how to produce music, play instruments. You can learn dance and choreography. There's like 7 basketball courts there. There's like football pitches. There's you know, kitchen so you can learn how to cook. There's libraries in there. There's all kinds of stuff. So in my area called Croydon at the moment, there's a lot of knife crime. There's kids getting stabbed every day. And it's like, if we don't put things together like this to get them off of the streets, there's going to be a lot more of that, you know, stabbings, killings happening in the future. So, you know, as far as philanthropy goes, I wanted to mention the Legacy Youth Zone in Croydon. So, yeah, that's something else that I have a major hand in.
Yeah, make sure you you know, shoot me the links to that. I love to help to promote that, and anything that you're doing with you know, putting your hands in the dirt and really helping to grow and foster a better environment for people. That's awesome. It really is.
Definitely, I will do, bro.
And like I said, ladies, you hear it come from the man himself, man. So make sure you like, subscribe, JRock. Make sure you follow Big Brothers. Make sure you follow all the philanthropy work that he's doing. He's definitely doing some really, really phenomenal things, man. And it's just a blessing to see somebody that's actually doing work. You know what I mean? And I mean work, and I chose that word specifically because it's a lot of people out there, especially here in the States. No shade, but there's people out there that just you see them and they're popping bottles. They're out there flippantly, but really, it's like, what are you really doing? How are you giving back to the culture?
Yeah, exactly.
And you actually doing it. It's a blessing, man.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. I wish I could do more.
I'm sure more is coming. But with that being said, like I said, this question is like, where do you are there any other projects that you're currently building on that you're working on that people need to be aware of and stay tuned for?
Absolutely. So my guy Famo, we got a record coming out on the 28th of January called Masterpiece. That's a big record. One of my favorites that I've done with him so far. Like, we're talking about doing some more music, so look out for that. I'm writing a book at the moment called Reaching Richard, which is about my son's autism and how I came to terms with it, how I've helped him along the years and stuff like that. It's a bit of an autobiography as well. It does speak about my younger years and everything up to date, but it focuses on the autism aspect and what people can do if they suspect their child is also on the autism spectrum. So yeah, look out for that. I'm working on getting to Ghana to do a documentary because obviously I was born in Ghana, but like as soon as I was born, I went to America. So everyone thinks I'm American. So that's a that's a random one, but I'm actually African. Yeah.
That's okay. So Ghana, DC, UK, man, you got the world covered, man. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I travel well.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. Well, and after the time, I definitely want to shoot through the next segment of this, which is called Hot Topics. And anybody that watches the show know that this is my favorite segment of the show. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, here is Hot Topics. Hang on. So JRock, Hot Topics are a series of questions that are designed for the viewers to get to know who you are through these random little obscure questions that I'm asking. They're all very light. None of them are meant to to put you in a bad light or anything like that. Feel free to answer them however you choose to answer them. But I just hope that you have fun with it regardless. Okay.
Absolutely.
So first question is 3 things you didn't know. What's 3 things that the world does not know about JRock, or 3 things that you want to clarify? Because for the life of people, they just don't seem to get it right about you.
Well, just like I just said, a lot of people don't realize that I'm actually African. A lot of people just assume that I'm from like a native of DC and stuff like that. I'm actually African. So I'd like for people to know that. I'd like for people to know that I'm probably, I'd love for the world to know that I've done a record with Twista that is absolutely ridiculous. Nice. It's never been released, but I feel like I'm gonna release it any minute now. And it's called Going Away, and it's so good. I don't know if Twista is actually doing anything in America right now, but like he always said to me, just put it out, Rocky, just put it out. So so yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there for sure. It's crazy. And number three, let me think. Outside of DC, LA is my favorite place on the planet.
And I've got
like when we did the Scooby-Doo promo, we were in LA, so we got to not only be around Hollywood, but we were actually in the hood in California, in LA, and like, you know, just chopping it up with everyone was dope. People didn't know if I was blooding or cripping. They didn't. They were just showing love, and like, you know, I thought it was gonna be a lot more sticky when you know people see you either wearing blue or red, but on this occasion, like people were just showing so much love. They were inviting us out to parties. They were just like real cool. And yeah, as I say, LA is like my favorite place on the planet.
Yeah, I gotta admit, you know, like I said, I'm here. I don't have any intentions of going anywhere else. So you know, LA
Right.
is love for me, you know, and I definitely
Big
agree.
city of dreams.
Hey, yeah, indeed. That's awesome, man. You got all three of those covered, and I appreciate you for sharing those three.
Uh-huh.
The next one is what they say. What they say is, what are some slang words from where you're from that if people were to kind of blow through your territory, or blow through your neighborhood, and they hear this slang, they know that people know that that's your hood.
Oh, rude boy is a big one.
Okay.
So obviously, everyone says, "Rude boy, are you going to go to the shop? Rude boy, are you going to do this or that?" So rude boy is like a big thing. It doesn't mean you're being rude. It's not about to be a fight or anything. No one's gonna move to you. Like rude boy is just how we call each other. Like in the States, a lot of people will say N word this, N word that, N word whoopty whoop. Like
Yeah.
our thing is rude boy.
Okay. That's what it is. That's what it is. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Like another one is like, I suppose one of my favorites, which is apples and pears. What do you think that means?
Uh, Apples and pears. Well, I mean,
Yeah. It's
nah,
like
I
a
don't.
rhyming slang.
It's a what?
It's a rhyming slang. So
Really?
apples and pears means, yeah, apples and pears means go to the stairs. so so if you needed something from upstairs, you'll go up the apples and pears and get me the this and that, or come down the
Ah,
apples and pears and meet so and so on the corner. You understand? So apples and pears is like a rhyming slang, we call it.
okay. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think the most interesting term that I've heard from people over there is bollocks. Can you tell
Bollocks.
yeah, can you tell me what bollocks is? Like the dog's bollocks? Like what is that about, man?
Okay, so the dog's bollocks means that you know it's really good. It's the bee's knees. It's the you know it's the illest thing I've ever seen. It's the bollocks. But like if you're saying it's bollocks, that means it's shit. It's not good. So
I
there's a
love
way you can deliver it, and you'll get you know either a good or bad connotation from it.
it. Okay. And then there was one other thing too. I used to work for a guy. We used to call people Muppets whenever he was whenever he
Muppet.
was yeah, he's like, "You're a Muppet." Like, and
Oh
for the
man,
first two
yeah.
times he said it, it didn't really register. But then the third time, I was like, "Oh, I got you," you know.
Again, a Muppet is like a term of endearment, but it's like you're being silly in it. You're a Muppet.
Yeah, I love it. See, this is the type of stuff we like to get out of, you know, because everybody speaks differently where they're from, you know what I mean, or where they
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
depending. So, this is a very fun question for me. I love this question.
Right.
You being an entertainer, I want to ask. My playlist popping is the next one. What's on your audio playlist? Like, what are you listening to that gets you your muse to keep moving things, you know, and putting your craft
Yeah,
out
yeah. Like right now, I'm listening to a lot of UK stuff in it. So I'm listening to people like Stormzy. I'm listening to Dave. I'm listening to Hardy. I'm listening to Styler G. Like there's a lot of artists. Like Styler G is one of the guys that probably back in the days I helped out, you know, in his early career, doing songs like My You and, you know, putting him together with other artists and stuff like that. So I'm really proud of his progression more than anyone probably because, you know, he's done records with Nicki Minaj that have, you know, blown internationally and stuff like that. So he's doing really well. Like Stormzy, for instance, he used one of my songs, Baby Boy, on his most recent album, Heavy Is the Head, and his version is called Rachel's Little Brother. And yeah, it's a really good tune, and like he pays homage to the whole South Side and you know, Big Brothers even for, you know, using the song. It's like a tip of the hat kind of thing. Like the artist called Dave that I said I'm listening to, like he's just one of the straightforward, one of the best lyricists out there at the moment with, you know, with a UK accent. Like he keeps it 100% real, but like his wordplay is also, you know, worthy of, you know, some of the best American artists as well. So, you know, I hold him in high regard. Like more recently, there's like in the UK, like white people wasn't really rappers or putting themselves out as rappers. So when I'm saying people like RD, like he's really good as a white rapper from up north. He's not actually from London. I think he's from Manchester or Birmingham, one of these places. But like again, he's really, what's the word? He's really clever, I guess, with his wordplay. And yeah, his music is entertaining to listen to. I don't really listen to too much drill and stuff like that because it all sounds the same to me. And like Pop Smoke was my favorite drill artist, and like, you know, since then I haven't really been on it. But like, yeah. I right now I'm listening to a lot of UK stuff. It's really like, you know, pioneering for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in turn, what's on your visual playlist? Netflix, what? It doesn't have to be Netflix. It could be Hulu. It could be Google Plus. I mean, the Google Plus, HBO Max. It could be a movie. It could be a TV show. It could be a documentary. But what are you watching?
Like for the most part, I'm watching religiously BMF. Like I love that. I love that series. I love the whole power thing. You know, I'm waiting for Tommy's you know, season to start in February at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, those type of programs, like whatever 50's doing at the moment, I'm on it. Yeah. Outside of that, like there's other like programs like This Is Us that I think is dope. I used to watch Scandal religiously. I thought that was amazing, especially because a lot of it was in DC as well. So it felt like, you know, being at home, even though I was in the UK. Yeah, I watch a lot of that. I mean, on YouTube, which is probably my staple channel, like I'm watching a lot of the the Hebrew Israelites, like what they're talking about. I'm still studying different religions and stuff like that in my spare time. It's a good look.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you with that, and we've made it through the hot topics segment. And I just want to ask you again, maybe 3 or 4 more questions, and I'm gonna release you back to your time, obviously. And I appreciate you for sharing energy with you, man. Definitely, it's been a great and fantastic interview.
No worries, my brother. I'm enjoying it so much.
Awesome. Now, this current events segment is, you know, more to understand exactly what your thoughts on things that are happening here and now, right? Or how you are engaging with the environment and so forth and so on. So, my first question is, how have you had to adjust to COVID and its variants, and how's it impacted you, your family, your ability to work, and you know, still, you know, maintain the level of a success that you have achieved?
Yeah. I mean, when COVID first hit, I wasn't sure about it at all. Like it wasn't until people that I knew started passing away and stuff like that I was like, oh snap, this is real. So like obviously there were no shows, there were no like entertainment things to do, like, you know, so we had to get creative and start doing our, you know, whether it's YouTube channels and this, that, and the other, in order to touch base with the fans and stuff like that. I was doing a lot more interviews and stuff, but there was no chance of doing any kind of shows. We were locked down over here in the UK for solidly like over 9 months and stuff like that. So, you know, again, even when the restaurants and stuff opened, they wouldn't open clubs. They wouldn't let you perform anywhere where alcohol was being consumed and stuff like this. So, you know, over those couple of years there, like everything went flat. Like, because I'm with the musicians union and stuff like this, they were sending like regular checks and stuff, but like, and I mean like checks that I wasn't due and stuff like that. They were like, oh, this, that, and the other. What I don't know what it's called even, but they were sending like musicians like money to help you sustain yourself, kind of thing, because there were no shows available. So that
Right.
was really interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but you know, outside of that, you know, my parents are rather, you know, old. They're getting on in age, so like not being able to go and help them as regularly as I used to was also like heartbreaking, you know. And even the other day, because they were just came back from DC the other day, and when they were there before the storm, they actually got COVID. Like when they
Yeah.
were in the UK, they when they were in the UK, they never had it. So like, you know, again, being over there, not being able to catch a flight back was like,
Right.
whoa, heartbreaking. You know, this is just, I don't know, not even a week ago. They came back on the 18th of January. You know, so after being over there for a month, but it was just unfortunate that on the back end of their trip that they got the COVID. But you know, they're all at home now, and you know, more than recovering. They're just recovering from the trip more than anything. But like, you know, they're home, and I'm able to visit, make sure that everything is good. And yeah, I'm happy to do that for sure. So yeah, I mean, the whole pandemic impacted, I'm sure, the whole world. But you know, musicians and you know, entertainers in a hard way that you know most civilians wouldn't understand.
Right. Well,
Mm,
you know, definitely, you know, glad to hear that your parents are okay and doing
yeah,
better. Definitely,
sure.
that's a blessed thing. So, you know, prayers and wishes go out to them for that.
Thank you.
Like you said, I mean, people a lot of times don't understand, even from the sporting aspect of entertainment. People kind
Yeah.
of don't really pay attention to the creatives, right? And then it's just,
Yeah.
oh, I support you, I buy your music, or you know, I pay for your tickets, you perform. But you
Hmm.
know, like you said, you know, we're all humans, right? And we all have our own walks of life that, you know, things that we have to maintain. And it's
Yeah. Yeah.
just, it's unfortunate, you know, to have to go through stuff like that. And you'd at least expect some sort of empathy, but you know, I guess maybe that's a little much to
Like
ask easily.
the UK government is like this. Like when the entertainment industry had to be shut down because of the lockdowns and stuff like that, they were insisting that musicians go off and get regular jobs. And like, you know, I'm not sure how, I don't know if it was Trump or it was Biden that was in power for you guys. Maybe Trump for the first part.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
yeah, yeah. Like, you know, I'm sure even with his ridiculous, you know, comments that he makes, he never said anything as stupid as that. Like, just get a regular job for a few days. It's impossible. Like, you
Yeah.
know, for a person of a certain stature, it's like saying to Ed Sheeran, go and work in McDonald's for a bit, or you understand, go and deliver mail for the next few days. It's you understand, it's impossible. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
Yeah, I wish I would walk into McDonald's and see Ed Sheeran out there in the burger machine. Yeah, I'm sure send all kind of messages. But
Yeah.
albeit, I do gotta say though, Trump talking about drinking bleach
Bleep.
to get rid of it, it's still up there. It's up there, man. Like it's
I'm waiting for him to take the first cup.
you get in line, brother. Get in line. Uh, so on to the next question. I want to ask: what are your thoughts on today's entertainment industry? I mean, you've been in it for, like you said, a better part of 20 years,
Yeah.
and you've seen a lot. You've been through a lot. And again, I've already complimented you on your financial acumen with regarding the entertainment industry. But being that you're, you know, you have a solid foundation in the industry, what are your thoughts on today's industry? Where do you see it headed? You know, and how's it different from when you first got aboard?
I think, you know, a lot of people can relate to my come up in the music industry. I mean, I used to sell my own CDs out of the back of a rucksack, you know, $10 or £10 a CD, this, that, and the other. It was a real hustle. Then it was putting your CD into the store, sale or return, this, that, and the other. So you start learning a bit about business every here and there. Like in today's market, you just upload your music, and maybe it will go to Apple Music, it will go to Tidal, it will go to Spotify, it will go everywhere for you. And if you're able to direct your market, you can actually become successful pretty easily. Like in my day, it was a hustle for real. Like, you understand, you had to make everybody know you. You were putting on shows before anybody even heard your records and stuff like this. So people actually had to trust the artist back in the days, and everyone didn't make it. It was like just the best made it, and in some cases people got through because of their agents or managers, this, that, and the other. Maybe personality got them through. But in today's market, you don't have to have a personality. You don't have to engage so much. Like, everyone understands what it is to troll. And, this is how I'm going to get your popularity. I'm going to, be rude about this. I'm going to be an idiot about that, or whatever is the case. And like, for me to turn around and start trolling people, like, what would be the point? I don't have that in me, kind of thing. If anything, I just want to, suggest good things and, help people become more successful. Trolling and, being an idiot for views is not something that is attractive to me. If that makes any sense.
No, it makes a ton of sense. So, I do got to say this too, and it goes and aligns with a principle that I learned a long time ago. Russell Simmons said that with regard to being a business person, your product has to have integrity, right? If it doesn't have integrity, people can't support it. They can't get behind it. And I think that your humility is the integrity to your product. You know what I mean? That just being able to talk to you, you seem relatable. All of the stuff that, like you said, the stuff that you're going through with your family and your son, just to see you walk that path and do all of these things, the different things, but still be the light and still be constructive for everybody else. Again, it goes back to that, integrity. And I think I agree. It's easy for people to go out there on social media and be, we said earlier, Muppets, right? That's the difference between you and so forth and so on, and nobody cares about, because again, you put in the work, people see the work you put in, and yet you're still here to hear the people, here for the people, by the people, the whole line. You know what I mean? So
exactly. Like for me, I wish people would look at my swag and copy it, i.e., each one teach one, each one pick up somebody, each one build somebody up. Let's give each other our flowers now. Like, you understand? Let's not wait until, it's too late before we start encouraging, people to do the right thing.
Right. And I love that, because again, I'm huge on giving people their flowers, man, especially because you never know. You know what I mean? And it's easier to belittle somebody or like you said, troll them or do all of this extra stuff. Be difficult. Tell somebody you love them. Tell somebody you appreciate them. You know what I mean? Absolutely. At least so that they know that they have the clarity of mind that they're on the path that they may or may not want to be on. You know what I mean? It's like a beacon. So I
definitely. Like for me, when I'm listening to drill and I'm looking at some of the career paths that some of these artists are taking, it's short-lived. And like, when you're getting money, why not live? Why not enjoy it? Why not, share? Why not, put your family onto things? Like, it's not about being so independent that I'm on my own. Like, you understand? Or I'm so consumed by my character that I have to actually kill people. Or you understand what I mean? Like, the thing that hurt me the most was dude from what's his name? He died recently from Memphis. No, dude from Memphis.
I think the actor, you mean, or the rapper?
The rapper.
Oh, Young Dro. Was it Young Dro? Not Young Dolph.
Young Dolph. There you go. That was such a heartbreaking situation, because I wasn't even put onto his music until he had passed. And when I'm listening to his music, when I'm, you know, checking out his actual story and stuff like that, he was a very positive person. You know, he was just getting money, and like, you know, he was about to be successful, like legit success, and like someone just comes and snuffs you out. It's similar to Nipsey Hussle, it's similar to you know, Pop Smoke. So many people are following the exact same line and having the exact same outcome. And like for me, it's such a waste of life. It's such a waste of talent. Like any one of these people could have been like a great leader instead of being dead, you know? So yeah, that's why I'm on this path.
I don't blame you, brother.
Mm,
That's awesome. That's
mm,
awesome.
yeah,
Um, I again, like I said, I mean, for interest of time, I had to take a question now, just like I said, allow you to get back to your regular schedule. But I definitely wanted to ask these last two questions, and these are the most important questions, right? The
yeah.
first question is: any advice for aspiring talent, young entrepreneurs, young rappers, young creatives, young people that are aspiring to have somewhat close of the
Mm.
humility that you have, or the success that you've brandished, and and levels that you've reached? What is your
Uh,
advice for that?
I would say like believing in yourself is paramount, because you'll come across a lot of people that will tell you you can't do it. Like when I'm watching movies like The Pursuit of Happiness, I always say, "Hey, I used to carry that box and no one wanted to buy it." And like eventually, you know, you have to put your skills and your talent into something else that will make you even more successful than that box that you was carrying trying to sell this, that, and the other. Sometimes you got to put the box down, drop all the dead weight, like, you know, and put yourself first. Understand who you are as an individual and set yourself realistic goals. But above all else, you must believe in yourself, even when people are putting you down. It might be your wife, the one that is sitting next to you, that is like, nah, that's never gonna happen. Like, don't listen to her. Like, you understand? It might be your parent that's gonna say, dude, I wish you were doing this rather than that. Like, at some point, yeah, you take the good from the bad. But if you believe in it that much, don't let it go. Like, you understand? Drive it until it works, you know, with someone. For me, I think that was my thing. I was so determined to be a rapper. And once I became a rapper, I was so determined to become platinum. When I became platinum, it was like, what is the next thing? I was so determined to be in movies. I was in Scooby Doo 2. I was so determined to be like a household name. So I started doing other TV shows and just becoming well known. I did a documentary called Giving Up the Weed. It was like a part of the school curriculum over here. People had to watch that, and it was on TV at least once a month, you know, for years. So, like, with that being said, I started putting myself in sticky situations that for most rappers they would never do it. Like, I can't see Snoop Dogg doing a documentary about giving up smoking weed. Like, you understand? He's gonna fall into that stereotype forever. And you know, being Snoop Dogg, he can do it if he wants. But like, you know, for the kids coming up under him thinking that Snoop Dogg is everything, he should probably be looking at other avenues that he could still be cool, but doesn't have to be so much on the chronic, doesn't have to be so much like, you know, West Coasting. You could just be wide open, like to the
Right.
world, and you know, give people a different focus for sure.
Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense, and I
Mm,
definitely appreciate that. That's a very, very great answer, and definitely one that people need to make sure they take notes on for sure.
yeah.
And this is the most important question out of all of them, and I'm sure you'll understand why when I ask. How can people learn more about you, man? How can people patronize you, support you, love you? You
Mhm.
know, just the whole nine. How can people reach out to you?
For sure. I think the best way at the moment was probably Instagram. Reach out to me. I think my account is wide open anyway. So as soon as you follow, I'll see you following. You can send me direct messages and stuff like that, which is at JRock underscore Big Brothers. You can reach me on Twitter at JRock underscore Big Brothers. You can reach me on Facebook which is www.facebook.com/JRock101. But yeah, there's a lot more to me than what I've discussed this evening. If you want to find out more, you could just Google me, and I'm right there. But like, the ins and outs, my everything is coming out in a book shortly. So look out for John Paul Horsley, my first book, and it's called Reaching Richard.
Hey, well, like I said, I was waiting for it. I know you had other accolades and things that you wanted to talk about too, but you know what I'm saying? Like, first, let's address this. When the book comes out, let me know. Keep me posted because I want to get a copy of the book. And then, if you're interested, I'd love to bring you back on the show, but just to talk about the book by itself.
Definitely.
I think that's an amazing accomplishment, and it's done for the right reasons, and it's definitely something that I definitely would love to see how I can help get it tracked and how can get it in front of as many people as possible. So definitely for that.
Thank you.
I definitely also want to thank you for your time and your energy. I mean, this has been a great conversation, and I like I said, learned a lot. And I'm in the driver's seat here learning, so I learned a lot from you, and I definitely appreciate exchange this information as well as energy exchange from you. Definitely, it was not. I will never forget this interview for sure. You have any last words? Anything else that you want to put out there? You want to show? You send any shout outs and just anything you want to shed light on before we get up out of here?
I just want to shout out my homeboy Famo, who put me, in touch with you. I want to shout out my group, Big Brothers. I want to shout out yourself, Donnie B with the beats. Like, thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for putting me on your platform. It's been wonderful talking to you, my brother, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon in the future.
Likewise, I appreciate it, and stay tuned. Like just hang on a little bit. So once we log off, then we can unpack and cover real quick. Then I can let you be out. But like you said, JRock, it's been a pleasure, man. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to JRock and Big Brothers. Make sure you follow the whole fam from over there. Make sure you like and subscribe. His whole team, City Boy, Famo, Losu. This is a whole everybody that is connected because they're group of friends, man. They're working on a lot of projects behind the scenes. It's going to be doing a lot of damage in a good way, though. So make sure you stay tuned to that. And I'm trying to just encapsulate everything that we've talked about. But you know what? We'll just say this. It's a pleasure to get to meet you. Pleasure to see the work that you're doing. It's definitely dope. Definitely very positive. And definitely would love to be assisting you with helping to push your brand further than it is now. So I'm here for it.
Thank you so much, man.
Of course, no worries at all. And with that being said, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe, JRock, Big Brothers. Make sure you follow all social media. And if you don't know, just Google the brother, because I was one of them who did it, and I guarantee you his page is what this brother's accomplishments are. So you will not be surprised. Again, like and subscribe, JRock. Like and subscribe, Donnie B got the beats. Like and subscribe, Beat TV LA. Again, season 5. We'll get ready to go into season 6 soon. JRock, you also get credit on this one, your IMDb as well. So that's getting tracked as well.
Really?
And yeah, so there's that. And that's all I have to say about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes. And JRock, you hang in there. Like I said, hang tight. We'll chat real soon. Okay.
I got you.
And with that being said, I'm Donnie B got the beats. We live on the beat, and we are out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Donnie B got the beats.